January 20, 1872 marked a significant moment in the history of Filipino nationalism. A mutiny involving approximately 200 Filipino military personnel and laborers occurred at the Spanish arsenal in Cavite, Philippines. Led by Sergeant Fernando Lamadrid, the mutineers seized control of Fort San Felipe, killing several Spanish officers and soldiers in the process. Two Spaniards dispatched by Fernando Rojas of the Cavite military were also killed. The uprising was quickly suppressed by Spanish loyalist troops under General Felipe Hinoves, who besieged the fort until the mutineers surrendered after 2 days. Many leaders were executed or imprisoned following their defeat in a harsh crackdown after the mutiny. The Spanish authorities used the event as justification to target prominent Filipinos advocating for reform, including those of the secularization movement. This movement is composed of Filipino priests fighting for equal treatment with their Spanish counterparts. The Spanish government caused the prosecution and execution of three priests, namely Mariano Gomez, Jose Burgos, and Jacinto Zamora, known together as Gomburza, who became martyrs for the nationalist cause. We will explore three distinct perspectives on the Cavite Mutiny of 1872 as articulated by Jose Montero Vidal, a Spanish historian, Trinidad Pardo de Tavera, a Filipino historian and doctor, and Governor General Rafael Izquierdo, who was in power during the event. Each account provides unique insight into the causes and implications of this significant uprising. Jose Montero Vidal, a Spanish historian, viewed the Cavite Mutiny as an attempt by native Filipinos to overthrow the Spanish government. According to Vidal, the mutiny was fueled by the removal of two important privileges previously enjoyed by laborers at the Cavite arsenal. These exemptions include exemption from tribute or tributo, a burdensome tax imposed on the natives, and polo y servicio, a form of forced labor. He also attributed the uprising to the influence of liberal ideas, the spread of subversive literature, and the policies of the prior Governor-General Jose Maria de la Torre, whose kindness and soft stances on the natives encouraged them to rise up against the authorities. Vidal highlighted the role of certain members of the native clergy, like Gomburza, who, out of spite towards the friars, collaborated with enemies of Spain. According to Vidal, authorities had received anonymous tips about a major uprising planned against the Spaniards, but these warnings were ignored. He claimed the conspiracy had been ongoing since the time of Governor-General Jose Maria de la Torre and involved meetings in the houses of Filipino figures like Joaquin Pardo de Tavera and Jacinto Zamora with the soul of the movement, Father Gomez. Vidal also implicated the garrison of Manila and numerous civilians in the plot, alleging plans to assassinate officers, servants, and the Governor-General. In contrast, Trinidad Pardo de Tavera offered a more nuanced view, describing the mutiny as a minor insurrection rather than a full-scale revolution. He argued that the primary motivation behind the uprising were rooted in material grievances rather than outright aspiration for independence. Filipinos at the time sought improvements in their living conditions and educational opportunities within the frameworks of Spanish rule, rather than complete separation. They requested for the opening of schools of arts and trade for people to be educated. Tavera's account emphasized the policies of Izquierdo, contributed to the unrest, suggesting that the mutiny was driven more by immediate concern than by a desire for political autonomy. The sudden, unexpected eradication of privilege, like exemption from tributes, tax, or tributo, and forced labor, or polo y servicio, was the primary moving source of the mutiny. Adding fuel to the fire of resentment against the authorities is the persecution and punishment of Philippine Malays, Peninsulares, Mestizos, and natives by Rafael Izquierdo, the Governor-General who vowed to rule the country with a cross on one hand and the sword on the other. The Madrid central government announced its intention to deprive the friars of all powers to intervene in civil governance and to manage educational system. This significant decision was part of broader reforms aimed at reducing the influence of religious orders in the Philippines, which had historically held substantial power over both civil and educational matters. The friars, fearing that their dominance was coming to an end, perceived this move as a direct threat to their authority. They sought justification for their continued influence and used the 1872 Cavite Mutiny as a pretext, portraying it as a widespread conspiracy against Spanish rule. As a result, the Madrid central government has reversed its initial decision, now placing greater influence in the hand of the friars. This shift underscores the friars' perceived importance as vital agents in maintaining Spain's sovereignty in the Philippines. Historically, the friars played a crucial role in both the westernization of the archipelago and the spread of Christianity, acting as de facto leaders in many communities due to the scarcity of Spanish officials. Governor General Rafael Izquierdo's official narrative painted a grim picture of the mutiny as an organized rebellion against colonial authority. He claimed in his report to the Spanish Ministry of War on January 23, 1872, that the uprising was orchestrated by a coalition of native clergy, mestizos, and educated elites who sought to challenge Spanish governance. During the investigation, authorities claimed that some mutineers had connection with the Gomburza priests, who were known for their advocacy of reforms against the Spanish friars. He described the mutiny as an insurrection, uprising, and rebellion. He alleged the conspirators offered the wealth of the Spaniards to the native troops. If the uprising succeeds, all Spaniards, including the friars, will be executed except the women. Izquierdo used this event as justification for repressive measures against those advocating for reform, viewing it as an opportunity to suppress dissent among Filipinos. These three accounts highlight differing interpretation of the Cavite Mutiny, reflecting broader themes of colonialism, nationalism, and social justice in Philippine history. While Montero Vidal emphasized revolutionary aspiration, Tavera focused on socio-economic grievances, and Izquierdo portrayed it as a serious threat to colonial stability. Collectively, they underscore the complexity surrounding this pivotal event in Philippine history.